Okay, so if somebody asks you what is Jonangpa. So Jonang is the name, Jonangpa is like possessor. So just possessor. You put possessor or you not put possessor, that's only different. Okay, drive or driver. So if somebody asks you what is Jonangpa, the answer is Jonangpa is a Tibetan Buddhist tradition. Had made name Jonang in 13th century. They made Jonang because they made with location. The locate called Jomo Nangpa is very sacred place called Jomo Nang. So there's a female deity called Nagyarmo. So near that valley called Jomo Nang. So in 13th century, Khenpang Tukje Tsondu renounced great Kalachakra master called Khenpang Tukje Tsondu. He made the permanent resident of Jonang there. So since then, called Jonangpa or Jonang. But the Jonangpa, the lineage is much longer than the Jonangpa name. So the lineage go back to Buddha Shakyamuni. But there's two lineages. Jonangpa hold a very special two lineages. So first, the special teaching called Gentong Viwu, Gentong Majamika. Why that is very special? Because firstly, Buddha taught 3 Dharma wheels. But the Jonangpa Gentong Majamika primary, the teaching is according to the 3rd Dharma wheel. Why 3rd Dharma wheel is more special than 2nd Dharma wheel? Because Buddha taught teaching for sentient beings. First, teach fundamentals, and then sentient beings, we call the fortunate beings, developed, then he teach more profound. So for this reason, the Jonangpa Gentong view is incredible profound because according to the 3rd Dharma wheel. Okay? That doesn't mean not contradictory the 1st and 2nd Dharma wheel. They all include it. And then maybe you have question, say, why the 3rd Dharma wheel is more profound than the other Dharma wheels, because some other scholars, they argue in 2nd Dharma wheel, talking only emptiness is more definitive. And the 3rd Dharma wheel is not definitive. Because Buddha himself, Dorde Gompa Nindir, which means that sutra explains Buddha himself which one is definitive, which one is not definitive. Buddha himself explained. In this, he explained that when he talked in 1st Dharma wheel, he said, this is Lanam Chipa, Kam Chipa, which means, Lanam Chipa means there is above, still there is above. Okay? It is not timeless. It is not indefeatable. And 2nd Dharma wheel, he taught the same thing. And when he taught the 3rd Dharma wheel, he said, this teaching is Lana Mamchipa, Kap Mamchipa, which means there is no above. There is no more above. There is no more a definitive. There is no more this is timeless. This is not. This is indefeatable. There's no more agu. That's he himself taught. That's it is why third dharma is more profound. So Jonangpa, as Genton view, referred to the third dharma well. Who explained the Buddha's teachings? Jonangpa referred to bodhisattva material, which means bodhisattva material is a 10th level of bodhisattva. According to the sutra, he is 10th level of bodhisattva. According to the tantra, he is the Buddha. So referred to his books, that's why his texts, and commented by Asanga. Asanga is third Burmese level. Third Burmese level, referred to the Asanga. And Vajabandhu. Vajabandhu is known as second omniscient, which means like Buddha. And then Kangameter, and then Awadata, and then Kachenjoni, and then Ramse Sanza. All these Indian incredible realization masters referred to them, and then come to Tibet. Through these teachings, completely transfer this unbroken lineage, and then finally, like 16th lineage holder, Chiston Jamyang. That is Dorpopa's Lama. Dorpopa is 17th. 17th, this lineage holder from the Buddha. So that's why it is very, very special. So that is according to the sutra lineage. And Dorpopa referred his name, many sutras. Buddha himself called him this and this, such and such, this year, this time, this located, this person called my name, which means omniscient. We call Kinkin Dorpopa. Kinkin means omniscient Dorpopa. So he referred many teachings. Dorpopa, his name, location, very, very clearly, can't mistake, you don't need to interpret anything. Just exactly a Dham Sutra, Suktur number, Atakhala, many sutras and tantras referred his name. He is an incredible one. Okay? And not only just Buddha referred it, and on his term, and he is completely superior among all any other scholars and these realizators, masters, like a moon in the sky, and among the stars, the moon and among the stars. So like that. So that's why Dorpopa. And then Dorpopa is like 17. Then continue these lineages, and up to Taranatha is like 27, 28, like that. So then continue. Now we are in like 40, 40s. One lineage we're talking about. There's many lineage. And then Tantric lineage, Tibetan traditions, they have all 4 classes of Tantric. Everybody has. Jonangpa, same thing. But what they don't have today, Jonangpa had, is the Kalachakra. So Kalachakra is incredible, again, special teaching. Buddha Shakyamuni, he taught form of Sambhogakaya form, Kalachakra form. He taught Kalachakra form, and then he taught it. Not he taught, as monk, simple robes, and he didn't taught that way. He taught that South India, Korwarko, Karnataka, Karnataka. That place, Chözin, Rifong Jim because there he taught, he appears as Kalachakra form, and then he taught all the teachings, and Kalachakra is a primary teaching, and the others is like secondary teaching. He taught at the same time. So that time, that's special, that's really special teaching, because this is not just humans and gods and everybody involved, everybody receives, but the main Kalachakra holder is the Shambhala kin, Suchanta Kirti. So we don't really know exactly today how long Kalachakra teachings remained our earth, and since that time, we don't know really exactly. We only know later Kalachakra Pada, Manju Vajra, he, in Tibet is called Tujab Chemo, he went to Shambhala and he brought back the Kalachakra teaching. Okay, that time, 10th or 11th century. There's many scholars a little bit arguing. Okay, so how this happened is that Suchantra, Shambhala kin, he received all teachings, and he went to Shambhala. Shambhala is not something we scientifically we can prove. Okay, as Shambhala is something to do with our earth, something. It's not like not fantasize. It's not completely like a pure land. Something to do with us, something related to our world, something to do with like Himalayas, mountains. Yet we cannot find scientifically exactly. It is spiritual realm, okay? Spiritual realm connected in this world and connected with us. That's Shambhala. He went there and 96 million cities and many castes, many different religions, everything became Kalachakra practitioners. Through 7 kings, called 7 kings, Suchantra first and then 7 kings, didn't become all one caste, one religion, until 7 kings, okay? After that first Manju Kirti, he convert all teachings, Kalachakra practitioner, all spiritual, everybody become. So that's why I call Rigden, because Rigden means all caste and religions included. Included means become one, become a union. So that's why I call Rigden. Then first Rigden, second Rigden, we have more 24 Rigdens. But the 11th Rigden, that time, Rigden Gyarka, at that time, we got teaching our land. Until then, we didn't got it. Okay, they hold in the Shambhala. So we may have, individual practitioners, Kalachakra practitioners, but not in the public a lot. So, and then in the 11th, that Rigdan's term, Kalachakra Pada, we call Tujab Chemo, and his real name, I think, Manju Vajra. First, his personal deity prophesies, you go north. And he went north and he met emanation of Rigdan. Emanation of Rigdan gave him initiation and he practiced 6 months and then he developed, miracle powers. And through this miracle power, he went to Shambhala and then he received teachings from Rigdan. I don't know how long. And then he came back and then he taught the Kalachakra. So that time in India, incredible Buddhism, incredible flourished that time, especially Tantigyana. But Kalachakra, another special form of Tantigyana. So he taught that, and his 12 disciples become a rainbow body. Okay, and then one of his disciple called Dujab Chongwa, and they call Shirbata. Shirbata, and we call second Tujab, okay? He's the best, he's the disciple, transform, is in Ngondo we say Jatin Nalin Tagbala Surandi, Tarvan, okay? Bodhabata, and why we say Nalin Tagbala Surandi? Because he become Nalindra leader, okay? Nalindra universe. That means incredibly, not just scholar, but incredibly exceptional. That's why. So that time they said, through the Kalachakra chanting, transformed people more than any or other Tantriyanas, practitioners to transform, we call Trapatup, become Mahasiddha. Okay? So that kind of is powerful, Kalachakra, that time. And so, and his the disciple, Panchina Dawangombo, he came to Tibet 3 times. And the rest, most of his life, I think he spent in Tibet. So he taught Tibetan, that's Tibetan person called Ndolo Tsawa, Namlatsak, Lama Harji Gomba, Lama Tipchin Yumo. Those things he taught. So this taught, translate everything is very special. There's some other Kalachakra, like lineages going on. But this one very special because Panchin Dawangombo, he spent most of time in his life in Tibet. He speaks fluent in Tibetan and Indian. That's why translation is very special. He's a very special person. Actually, he born is like a Muslim family. Father is Muslim, mother is Buddhist, and then first he have to become Muslim, and he's Islam. He follow Islam. He studies everything, and then he not satisfied. Then he seek Buddhism. That's why he went. That's why he developed incredibly. So the Panchin Dawangombo is between Tibet and India. That's why he came, Kalachakra. That's tradition we call Ndroluk. Kalachakra have 2 major translations called Raluk and Ndroluk. This one is Ndroluk. So Ndroluk Dipika, Raluk Fyapika, we say. Fyapika means Ra tradition is good to intellectual, and this Ndro is good to practice and transform. So, but this Jonangpa tradition is really, really incredible because not only just these 2 traditions, but 17 different traditions converted together, okay, in compared to Gyatso, that 13th century.